Hello my people, welcome to another story. Today is the tale of the comeback kid. If this is your first time joining me, there's a new story every week. Please consider subscribing. Also, I'd be forever grateful if you would share this on social media with your friends. Click that like button, maybe leave me a comment, let me know what you think. Without further ado, let's roll. I grew up playing board games and absolutely love them. Stratego, Axis and Allies, Samurai Swords, Acquire. These were just a few, but the one that we always loved the most was Risk. If you've never played Risk, you are missing out on something amazing. It is a venture in capturing the world in a very Napoleonic type way. The basic gist is you take armies and you roll dice to compete with the other players who control countries. You try and take over the countries and the continents. When you control a continent, you get more armies out of that continent and you can continue your siege across the board. We had to develop very strict rules as to how alliances and truces and that kind of stuff work, and the wording that you used when you discussed it with your friends. It got to a point where we had to write things down because if there was a gray area, the person who created it would exploit it, and to say that you became angry is a grave understatement. One such day we were playing Risk and it was epic. It was a brutal war on all fronts. I was not doing well and was relegated to the continent of South America. I was bleeding troops quickly as I was being assaulted from both Africa and North America every single turn. I could barely hang on. On my turn, I elected not to attack, but to fortify and try to weather one more turn. As luck would have it, another member of our group attacked Africa, causing the African warlord to shift his view and deal with the troubles in the Middle East. The commander-in-chief came down from North America and tried to take us out. I looked him right in the eyes and said, "I don't think so, pal. You don't want none of this." He rolls against me, and as fate would have it, I rolled 6 after 6 after 6 and repelled his attack in full force. He made one fatal mistake, and that was not putting enough troops to stop me. The African warlord had to abandon his coastline to try and stop the guy from the Middle East, and I launched an attack into Africa and took one of his countries, thus neutralizing his continent power. I then shifted my focus and attacked Mexico. It was as though he was the Imperial forces and I was the Ewoks, just rolling logs down right at him, and he crumbled in Mexico. I now possess a country in both continents, and neither of them have the resources to fight back because they're having to defend their other borders. They also have now lost their continent bonuses. The turns proceed and they have to try to redistribute their men, and now they've gone from cocky and overconfident to a couple of defensive doinks. My turn rolls back to me, and having defended Brazil effectively from the African warlord, I muster my troops from Mexico on a journey to go visit the Statue of Liberty. And on the way, we're gonna visit the entire United States. I begin a march up the west coast into Alaska, across Canada, and I am burning through his troops like a bear through a camper. I've never seen that in real life, but there are videos and it doesn't look pleasant at all. Nor was this. I roll through, I leave one country behind my men, and I post up in Greenland. What this does is it effectively blocks the other vultures from coming in and taking him out, thus by securing his cards, which give more men. The next turn, I wipe him off the map and gather his cards and shift my focus to Africa. I drop troops on their western border and stomp through that continent like my boots were on fire. I have now secured myself as a major player in this game, and on the next round I wipe out the African warlord and shift my focus to the two remaining guys. One holding Australia and half of Asia, the other one attempting to hold most of Europe and the other half of Asia. I descend upon the Europeans like the Black Death, coming from Greenland and Africa, and swarm them. In one turn, I wipe them out. On the next turn, I finish Asia and post everything I have up on Siam, and I wait. Now, the Australians came to me with an interesting proposition. I sat back on my kingly throne and listened to their request for the cessation of aggression against their continent. In such, we struck a deal. This deal made it so that he would also be able to claim victory, which was going to greatly irritate the other gentlemen who had been playing the game. The price I demanded for granting him this victory was nothing short of awesome. I had at my disposal 2 instances that I could call upon at any time, and his honor would be at stake if he did not adhere to the terms of the deal. The code word was Benedict Arnold, and should I utter that phrase, he had to stop what he was doing and cluck like a chicken at the top of his lungs for for 30 seconds. I have seen this stunt performed on YouTube. Just know that that was originally done by the Comeback Kid. The first one I did in the middle of a department store with not too many people around because I wanted to see what it looked like. The second one I waited till he was chatting up a girl at the mall. It was awesome.